Hey everybody, welcome back. Today we're talking about the document that set up the first version of US government. That's right, the Articles of Confederation. Help me out and smash that like button before you forget. But what exactly was so bad about the Articles of Confederation? It's like nobody ever has anything good to say about it. It's just all negative in words like failure and challenges. There's a good chance that you already know that the Articles are famous for creating a federal government that was really weak. Too weak, in fact. And admittedly, this isn't a history class, but a little background information is in order. The full name is the Articles of Confederation and Perpetual Union between the States. Not exactly the catchiest branding, but so it goes. That word confederation implies the various states will be friends and they'll remain united. But nothing about this document suggests that this is now a single nation. Rather, it's a way for the 13 sovereign nations to join together on just a few issues where they realize they'll be stronger together. Like, fighting a war against the British. Then they'd be on their own. By the way, did you know that the states actually invited Canada to be part of the Articles? Yep, it's right there in Article 11. If Canada wanted, they could have been admitted into the Confederation. Fun fact, eh? So, under the Articles of Confederation, each state was sovereign. And that word sovereign refers to having the right to rule. This meant that while the states joined the Union, they could each ultimately make their own decisions and even go against what the federal government did. Again, this makes sense. They were in the middle of fighting a war to get away from being trampled by a strong central government, so they created the exact opposite. They established a very weak federal government, one that only had a single branch. Just legislative, no executive or judiciary. And that legislative branch was a unicameral Congress in which each state, no matter how big or how small, had exactly one vote. Legislation was tough to pass, and it had to be unanimous to amend the Articles, so have fun with that. And with no executive branch, it could not enforce laws. The problem was, this government was so weak that it was ineffective, and lacking the ability to raise revenue, it struggled to manage basic functions, leading to issues that will eventually be its undoing. But let's talk about what Congress could and could not do under the Articles, because believe me, the AP exam loves asking these sorts of questions. Most of Congress's power had to do with foreign policy. They could declare war and they could make treaties. They could appoint military officers and make alliances. They also had some powers with money. They could both coin money and they could borrow money. But that's about it. Just as important is what Congress could not do. It could not tax either the states or the people directly. But they could beg the states for money. They'd tell them, hey, this is how much you owe, and then hope that the states gave them something. Anything. Please. Congress also couldn't regulate interstate commerce, which doesn't sound like a big deal right now, but I promise by the end of this unit, you'll see why that matters so much. Okay, remember some of Congress's powers? Treaties and coining money, right? Well, states retain the power to coin money and create their own currencies as well. They could also refuse to recognize federal treaties. This is what I'm talking about when I said that the states were sovereign. They were the ultimate power, not the federal government. States could also impose tariffs or taxes on goods from other states. States can't do any of those things today. By 1786, people like Washington and Madison believed that this government just wasn't working out. But for many, the tipping point was Shea'S Rebellion. This isn't a push, so what we care about is how it showed the weakness of the federal government, how the lack of a centralized military power led to a slow and weak response putting down the rebellion. And this caused an increase in public support for a stronger central government, and maybe even a new constitution. There was by no means agreement about what should be done to fix the Articles, or whether we should just get rid of them altogether. But the rebellion changed public opinion enough for Madison to get his way and for a constitutional convention to be called for the summer of 1787. And that's what the next video is all about, so stay tuned. Until next time, this has been a Money production. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already, and if you want some extra help, practice, and great study guides, check out the Ultimate Review Packet. You can preview Unit 1 for free. And I will see you in the next video.